Hello, everybody. My name is Tiziana Inisi, Client Director from Kilpatrick Executive Search, international headhunting and HR consulting company. I'm very happy to welcome you to the podcast Türkiye Through Her Voice. The aim of the podcast is to give voices to Turkish ladies who have reached leadership positions inside and outside of the country. We will listen to their stories with open mind and try to understand the reality better, avoiding stereotypes. I'm very pleased today to welcome Ece Alakoc Conti. Welcome.
Thank you.
Ece.
I'm very pleased to be here.
So we have Ece directly coming from Milan and where she lives, and we have her here for a couple of days. So I wanted to take the occasion to have a chat with you.
Thank you.
Ece is the HR director for Generali, recently left Generali in January. Ece, I wanted to start this discussion. You have been graduated from one of the top universities in Turkey, the Boğaziçi University. And you started at Ernst Young in the audit department. So all of a sudden, if it was all of a sudden, I'm asking you, you decided to change your career from finance to HR. How did you come to this decision?
Thank you, Tiziana, for the question. It's not all of a sudden, actually. I worked almost 4.5 years in audit. I was always good with numbers at university, at high school. I liked mathematics, so I found myself studying economics. But I like also people interaction. I'm very social, very extrovert. And in the audit, I found myself in the darkest rooms looking at the numbers, and I felt lost. So I went directly to the managing director after 2 years, and I said, look, I don't think this job is for me because, I don't have human contact. And he said, Ece, okay, I understand. And it's good you realized it very early in your career because now I'm stuck here. I will give you another opportunity. So they changed my role to corporate services where I started to do M&A, development, company settings. But after 2 years, I again started saying, no, this is not for me. It's not enough because I was seeing more.
Not enough people.
Not enough people for me, not enough interaction. And in the meantime, headhunters like yourself were calling me for other positions, usually finance positions.
Obviously.
Obviously. And one of them said, okay, you're not interested in this position, but we're looking for someone for ourselves. And you seem to be the perfect match with your finance background and your people skills. And I said, no, I don't know. I never thought of it. I went home. And the next day I called them and I said, I think that's the right next step for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say, when there are opportunities come in your life in front of you, don't be afraid to try new things. Because I could always go back to finance, I thought, because I was really Ernst Young is a good school, all the audit firms for this. But that opportunity came then and it changed my life.
This is also, it's interesting that you are saying this because in the talent acquisition headhunting world, there are a lot of people that think that copy paste or plug and play is the best solution. So you need someone from finance to go to finance, but thinking out of the box and seeing also this thing that is not on the CV necessarily on the resume is extremely important to match people and opportunities.
Yes.
And also, of course, this is the job of the
Yeah.
talent acquisition, but also the person needs to be open to something that is maybe not immediately applicable to her or his
Yes.
resume.
That's a talent I think headhunters need to have, a good headhunter to really spot these specific, I would say, value adds you can bring, because I didn't lose my finance career. They made me responsible for finance practice, and it really gave me even a better career for where I am standing now. I can look back, but also openness, as you said, all through my career. When some opportunity came, I really evaluated, of course. I didn't jump, but even if when there were risks, I tried to take evaluated risks. And this is very important. Being open brings you other opportunities.
Very good, very good. So congratulations to my colleague at
Yes.
that time for
Yes.
having seen this opportunity for you. Okay, so you have been working through different countries and also exposed to very complex environment, very complex organizations. This exposure, what brought to you and what gave for you to shape your way of managing people and having relationship with people?
Yes, you're right. I worked abroad starting right after graduation. I worked in a bank in Finland in the risk management department. Then I worked in Austria, Vienna, managing 14 countries for 4 years. And since 10 years, I'm in Milano in a global role that I recently left. So, what this broad experience in very complex organizations, very huge machines, I would call them, is actually understanding that there is no unique leadership style. There is no unique leadership, effective leadership that we can define. The most important part is really being authentic and respecting the local dynamics. The leader needs to give clarity, vision, and direction, but taking also into account the perspectives of the local needs, the local management, and the local market. So it's very important, if a leader thinks in every country, in every culture, the same characteristics apply, I have seen them fail. So this comes out as a conclusion. Inclusive leaders are also, in my experience, successful, because they don't want to have their team with the same people. They come to HR saying, I need different perspectives. I don't want yes men. I want people that challenge me. Ece, let's look at other countries. Let's bring talents. Let's send our talents. In regional roles, for leadership, my main priority was to go around, meet all talents, and really move talents and make mixed teams to learn from each other, because this is really the richness of big complex groups. Then a third and last thing I would add is the in big groups, more than leadership, or as important as leadership, the most important thing is ambiguity management for leaders. So effective leadership, just to running to the results, doesn't come on its own. You need to manage the ambiguity, and communication is key in whatever you do. How you communicate, how you cascade ambiguity, how you don't cascade when it's not the right time, but motivate and engage your people, is effective leadership.
Very good. And talking about the HR roles, you have been leading international, global HR teams and also reporting to CEOs. How do you? I find also often this double situation. You are reporting to the leadership, to the CEOs, and on the other side, you also need to be an influencer for the leadership people. So how do you manage this? You were talking about ambiguity, but when you report directly to the executive team, how can you do it as an HR in the way that you can also influence them in a positive way? Sometimes even getting in contrast with the executive team.
Yes, thank you, Tiziana. That's I think very critical question, and that's where as HR we can make the difference. HR needs to have the right position at the right tables. So for me, I remember my first head of HR role. They told me I was going to report to the COO, and the executive committee was COO, head of business functions. And I said, no, if I am not at the executive committee, I'm not joining you. They said, no, but HR and finance report to COO. I said, that's very unfortunate. I would also want the CFO to be at that table to hear what business is saying directly, to really make the best predictions financially, and also for me to be a proactive and strategic HR. That's my only point. And I left the interview. And this was long ago. And then if you ask me something on diversity inclusion, I will explain my assertiveness has always not worked in the positive way, but here it worked. They called me back. The CEO was an ex-banker from London, and this was happening in Turkey. He had just come back to Turkey, and he wanted to work with me. So it's very important that you sit at the table at the right position. If that position is not given to you, you take it. This is what I learned. But how do you take it? Because you're not just given positions. You need to show that you are able to sit and contribute to the business conversation. My finance career start helped a lot. My curiosity helps a lot. So for me, the most important thing also for my teams when I onboard them is to be curious. So in the coffee break, not ask how is it going, what did you do on the weekend, or what do you want to play paddle, but to say what is the hot potato you're working on, as Americans would say it. Which project are you working? I don't know about that, because as HR, of course, we don't know about which project the portfolio management is working in asset management. And you ask curious questions, even without knowing. It's easy. What is the project? What is your role? What are you trying to achieve? And what are the results so far? Now you already had a mini MBA on a portfolio. So this is how you make yourself also informed about what's going on. And you sit at the table, and when the manager says that portfolio is going great, well, I had a chat and I heard that portfolio was not so good. And I realize you're trying to restructure the portfolio. There is a big silence. And they know HR is not sleeping. And the finance says, yes, I have seen the results, and we're not having the income we projected on that portfolio. This is the right partnership with business and support functions. And for me, this is very important.
And do you think that, this is really what you just described? I would say this, would define this as a business partner for the HR function. Do you think that in these there is also when the HR gets too close to the business, is there a risk that it gets away from people?
It could be. Then you have to really try to balance. Because, of course, getting too close to the business, when you have a team, my stakeholders are the first line and the managers. Then my team is for the below. Mm-hmm. And when we select the talents, I meet the talents. Mm-hmm. When we divide our time, then we have for the rest And coming to your initial question, once you get a seat, the CEO trusts you more, then you become actually the sparring partner of the CEO, because the CEOs usually don't have anyone to talk to. You become really the person that the CEO wants to have your opinion on business topics, on what to present to the board even when the topic comes. Because I have worked in regulated entities, we had regular boards and there are requirements to present to the board, but how you present it, the storytelling and the evidence is very important. So it's a very, very close partnership also with the CEO. And in order to do that, you need to spend time with the business without closing the door. And one last point, we always had Friday 2 hours, open door HR, we called it. So anyone can book my calendar for half an hour. And I always travel. And when I travel, I meet people. And that's very important. Even after COVID, I continued traveling because at that level, people want to see you. People are not able to tell you something that they want to trust you with on a video sometimes. But if you're there, they come and knock on your door and can we talk for 15 minutes comes out.
Yeah, it's important. It's important that being close with the people that are working, I think, shouldn't be missed from the HR role. You have, during your career, you have been deeply involved in transformations. What do you think that, as an HR, from an HR perspective, what do you think that are the elements that make a transformation effectful?
People, the buy-in from people. The transformations I have seen not succeeding because the processes you can change, but if people are with the old habits, you cannot complain, Ece, we have this very fantastic new system, nobody wants to use it. Well, you need to get the buy-in. It's not an IT project. But of course, I'm also exaggerating at this moment to understand the difference of people buying. Now all the project teams of transformation have representatives from each function. They have their say, they are involved in the testing, and you need to communicate the progress. It cannot come top down. If you want a transformation to be successful, continuous communication and sharing is very, very important. And last, celebrating both successes and failures, because transformation comes with successes and failures. We try to hide failures, especially during transformation, because we think we failed and people will take it negatively that the transformation is not going well. But transformation by itself is an evolvement, and you evolve making mistakes.
By crisis.
Yes. So how does a child start walking? They fall. They get up. So this is very important to management and the real leadership you see there that really gives the hand when the employees fall and say, it's okay, we move on. Let's see what went wrong and let's find a solution. For me, this is how transformations succeed.
Very good. Ece, now we have a younger member of our team that would like to ask you a question.
Sure, with pleasure.
Thank you for the insights you've shared so far. My name is Siriana and I'm working as an HR consultant at Kilpatrick. And I would like to ask you, as a senior woman in leadership working internationally, what challenges have you faced and what advice would you give to young women at the beginning of their careers?
Thank you, Siriana, for the question. This is a topic I'm very passionate about. Tiziana already knows we had different conversations and they organized a round table, and I'm grateful to be part of these initiatives because I think with our experience we need to also sponsor and mentor young women. First thing is openness. To be open to new ideas, to really not be afraid to try. I have been described as masculine, as aggressive many times in my career because I have a strong personality, I have strong convictions, but this is who I am. And it doesn't make me masculine or feminine. This is Ece. So be proud of yourself. Don't let anyone define you. Like I was also thinking, for example, just to give an example, when I started my role in a company, one of the changes, there was an HR director, male, who was leaving the company, and I was entering, replacing him. And he was even more senior than I am, with experience and age. And we were overlapping for 1 month to do the handover. And when I arrived, he organized a call with the whole team and introduced me without asking me. And this I didn't like. He's going, why is he introducing me? But I didn't know how to act in that meeting. Then the next morning, he said, okay, I will introduce you now to the management team. I booked you meetings with each management member. And I'm like, I don't need to be babysit. I don't need you to introduce me. I'm a senior HR person, but you need to say it in the appropriate way, no? So it was to realize these things is one thing, to be aware. So please always try to move yourself out from that context and look at it from outside. Because sometimes, speaking for myself, I don't want to generalize, but we can get emotional. And although I'm very assertive, I'm very emotional inside. So I feel, okay, if I say this, maybe he will feel, he's leaving and he doesn't have another job now. So he's leaving the company. So he will feel bad if I say, and he organized all these meetings. But then the Ece outside says, but it's not correct, Ece. You have to establish yourself with the management. You don't need this introduction. But I cannot say it before they're making it properly. So you need to always stick objectively. Men are very good doing that at work. Please try to evaluate what's happening objectively. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, make sure you ask yourself to move out and look from outside. Because overwhelmed men don't feel. Also, I did like Tiziana, as I said, I worked in a headhunter. So I can also say, because you will all be searching for jobs and doing the interviews, my observation from the interviews and the differences between male and female also throughout my career for promotions. So when you ask a male person if he is ready for a position with, I don't know, the same experience and the same qualifications of a female person, the answer is yes, since yesterday I didn't understand why I didn't get the job last year. If you ask to the female person, for example, they are both sales manager and we are looking for a sales director, or there will be a promotion for a sales director. When you talk to the female person, they say, I don't know if I can do that because I did sales in Turkey and I did in Greece, but maybe I didn't do. So they all focus on what is missing instead of what they have. Immediate response is also sharing what is missing. So if a headhunter is very busy, be aware that you are saying, I'm not your best candidate, while the male is saying, I'm the best candidate for you. If you put me in front of your client, I will tell them I'm a sales manager who actually also did only 2 countries and will now move to 5 countries management. But it is, since, I mean, I could do it even last year, but if it's this year, I will still accept it for you. This is the arrogance we see, inside and outside. It never changed in my career. And trust yourself. Believe me, women, with the natural, even if you choose to be a mother, you choose to have a family, or you have other passions and you choose to spend time for them, we are better in managing that time. So I am sure if it's a challenge, you will manage. I'm talking to all the young ladies. You are only responsible for yourself, and really make sure that nobody talks for you. You talk for yourself, you introduce yourself, and if somebody talks, you cut them. Men are very good in cutting you in the meetings. And when a woman does, they say, wow, Ece is very disrespectful. She cut me. No, you were disrespectful. I go after the meeting and say, sorry, I had to cut you because you were disrespectful. This is very objective sentence. Because you started talking for me and I cannot allow that. But I will never cut you again because I know you will never talk for me again. With a smile.
Always with a smile.
Always
right?
with a smile.
And what's next, Ece?
That's the question, Tiziana. Now that I left Generali Investments asset management part after 7 years and with a whole career behind, I'm taking a small break and thinking. At the same time, with 25 years of experience in HR and 4 countries and international experience, I would like to also give back to the societies we live in, to help and to do different things. So I am now helping and working in a startup for HR. I am also a board member there. They have developed a fantastic HR tool, a very young team. It's a cross-generational company, we call it. And that's for me a beautiful experience. I would like to have more of that. I also am doing mentoring with my university and different, I would say, organizations. And I think the best way to share my experience is to work maybe in consultancy. I'm exploring to make best use of my different experiences in transformation, global HR management, but I'm a corporate person. So I am not yet the entrepreneur because in the corporate world, you play a game. It's a stakeholder management game, and it's fun for me to play that game. So you have to talk with someone to make decisions moving, talk to another one, then make sure you also talk to another one, then come back and create this consensus one-to-one. For me, it's a game. So I think consultancy or corporate next step together with some volunteering work suits me best for the next years in my career.
So we will be following what you do. What is your next step? Do you think that this moment that you take during your career, you or anybody in the career, just great, saying, okay, until now I've done this, something happened, you had a child, so it was also,
Yes.
it's involving everything. It's like exploding in the life of a family. But could be something else or nothing. Just a moment, a couple of months or 1 year, where you reflect on what happened and what will be next step. Some people are afraid to take this moment, but I think it is more dangerous not to do this. What do you think about it?
You're right. My trigger was my daughter. and I had a personal coach to really challenge myself and make this decision. And I made this final decision, and I'm very happy about it because I have a very small daughter. She's only 4, and I was managing lastly 8 countries and seeing her very little. So you start to challenge life. And I have seen many friends, ex-colleagues going through, like you said, these moments of truth in life after a certain experience for different triggers. I think it's also the new era, AI, all these changes. We need to focus to the future, and everyone needs to find their own way. It's no longer the same. You go to a company, you grow, you want to get promoted, and then you change. There are transfers. There are many opportunities. It's not like when we started. So when I also meet young, I would say, talents, like recently in Italy, I met someone who came from London. He was working in Rome, and we wanted to transfer him. And the first question everyone asks me is smart working. How many days?
Yeah.
And then he told me, I said, is this your criteria? And he said, yes, this is the most important criteria because I got married last year. We are waiting for a baby.
Yeah.
We will not live in Milan. We will live outside of Milan because we want to raise our child with the nature. My wife is working in Ernst Young. She's doing 5 days smart working. So during the day, we will have a babysitter. But I also can come only 2 days. And he was so firm.
Yeah.
And I was...
No, it's I totally respect this.
I wasn't able to respect it because I'm not so used to it. So I said, okay, if this is your criteria, I tell you, we need you 3 days in the office. And the interview finished. I said, if you're interested, write to me. Then I called my team. Why are you making me interview this person who is not even agreeing with the smart
3
working
days.
conditions?
Yeah.
Because in Italy, there are syndicates and they are like agreements. So it's not like
You
the
can't
company
be flexible
decides.
ever.
And they're like, but Ece, he's so smart.
Yeah.
He is London, he's PhD, then he worked in Rome, he did these projects. So I said, okay, if he comes back to me, we will take him. And he came back, okay, I want to work with you, with your company because I have seen these things. But maybe some days I could be flexible. I said, don't let me know, arrange with your manager. For Sundays, if you need for your child, I understand you. But the rule is this.
This needs to be respect, of course. But I think, that especially younger generation are more now clear about what they want in terms of a balance between work.
And I respect that, and we are waking up now. So we are seeing more and more people like me stopping at a certain point, thinking what they want to do next. And not many like me want to continue corporates. They really want to do something more flexible. But I think I have a lot of energy. And as I said, I really like playing the game. So I will continue corporate a little more.
Okay, then good luck for your future, Ece. And thank you very much for participating. And for you guys, stay tuned for our next episode.
Thank you, Tiziana, for inviting me.